The owner of the share is granted a long-term lease on the unit represented by the share in the corporation, sometimes up to 99 years. The owner of the share and the occupant of the unit do not own any interest in real property. The corporation owns the entire interest in the real property. Shareholders in the corporation that own the building are responsible for electing officers and a board of directors to oversee the management of the property. The corporation manages the maintenance, cleaning, payment of taxes, mortgage payment, and other functions related to the real property. Cooperative owners are usually required to pay monthly maintenance fees, which are similar to those of condo owners we discussed previously. The fees are used to maintain the property. Unlike condominium associations, cooperatives do not have lien rights to collect delinquent payments from owners. The share owners do not own real property on which a lien could be placed. If too many owners become delinquent on their monthly dues, the financial well-being of the cooperative may be jeopardized. Due to the dependence the cooperative has on the shareholders, many cooperatives reserve the right to approve all share transfers. The cooperative may have the right to review the financial situation of any prospective purchaser. The cooperative may have the right to reject a potential buyer for any legal reason. The share in the corporation, which is what any owners purchase, is personal property rather than real property. A real estate license does not authorize one to sell or market shares in a cooperative. In most jurisdictions, selling or marketing stock requires a security license rather than a real estate license. Since the ownership interest in a cooperative is not a real property, traditional mortgage financing is not available. However, many financial institutions will still use a share in a cooperative as collateral for a personal property loan. The IRS even has specific provisions which may allow a cooperative owner to deduct the interest paid on a loan secured by the share in the cooperative. This gives a cooperative owner similar tax benefits to those provided to traditional real property owners. Townhouse ownership. Townhomes are common in markets where ground comes at a premium. The term townhome is used to describe housing which has no space between the units. In other words, the individual housing units share a common wall. Townhomes may look like condos, and condos may look like townhomes. As we mentioned previously, there is one major difference between a townhome and a condo. Townhome owners own the ground on which their home sits. In some projects, the townhome will include a small yard as well. Townhome projects include common areas similar to the common areas we discussed in connection with condominium projects. In order to maintain the common areas, townhome owners are assessed a monthly maintenance fee by the Owners Association. Timeshare ownership. Timeshare ownership is common in resort areas. For many buyers, purchasing a second home in a resort area is not financially feasible. Some buyers may not be able to justify purchasing a home which they may only use a few times a year. Timeshare ownership was developed to allow more individuals to purchase vacation properties. Instead of purchasing an entire property, timeshare owners purchase only a fraction of the property. Purchasing a share usually entitles the owner to use and occupy the property during a certain time of the year for a defined length of time. Timeshare estates are considered real property. The interest is transferred with the deed just like traditional ownership interest. For example, a condominium developer may decide to sell timeshare interest in a condo project. Each share entitles the owner to use the property for a week. Theoretically, the developer could sell 52 shares of each condo unit. Normally, developers will sell around 50 shares per unit to allow time to maintain the property. Timeshares allow developers to set competitive sales prices while allowing individual owners to participate as owners for a fraction of what it would cost to own an entire unit. Timeshare owners are usually required to pay annual maintenance fees to maintain the property. There are many organizations which allow and facilitate timeshare trading. A timeshare owner may trade their time in the property for another owner's time in the property. Because timeshare estates are real property, Many jurisdictions regulate timeshare sales as real estate transactions. In other words, a license is generally required to sell timeshare estates. A timeshare use is different from a timeshare estate. As we discussed, a timeshare estate is considered real property. A timeshare use is the right to use a property for a certain time period. Typically, a timeshare use will expire after a certain period of time. A timeshare estate owner has the right to use the property incident to their fee estate in the property. Their ownership does not expire because it is considered real property. Planned unit development, PUD, ownership. Planned unit development projects may consist of several home types. For example, single-family homes may be part of a PUD. Twin homes or two homes which share a common wall may be a part of a PUD. Townhomes can also be part of a PUD.